What is up, guys? Teddy Cornwall here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk, the world's most underrated podcast on earth. We got the stud RB in the house today. Fear Ameer, baby. You know who it is, Mr. Ameer Abdullah. How are we feeling today?
Good, man. My off season started, so my days are pretty simple. Work out in the mornings, afternoons, recover, do creative stuff at night. It's like I feel like I'm on summer break. You know what I mean? It's like that summer break feel where you're kind of like trying to get your bearings a little bit because you're used to so much structure, so much like, schedule, be here at this time, traveling a lot, and then it just stops, you know. But it's good. I'm watching some playoff football, so that's a perspective that I'm hoping to be back into, potentially next year.
And you're a free agent going into this next season,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. I will be a free agent in March.
Okay, gotcha. And obviously, I know last time we spoke, and you talked about we know you play football, but we also knew you do something just as good. And obviously, that's the production and stuff you create. We talked about Joshua's tree last time. What's that like juggling a professional football career and then also being a writer and you're also a producer? What's that all like?
Um, I feel like each one serves each other as a breath of fresh air when I pivot. You know what I mean? Like when I'm in like a hyper focused, more hyper masculine, I would say, space of like football and objective achievement and like um consistency to like a process. Like kind of forging your way. I feel like football is like a space that I get in. I kind of like get to forge my own identity, my own confidence, through my ability to execute on the field, which is a lot more like hyper masculine, I would say. When I'm in those spaces, when I'm able to step out of that and come into the more subjective space, which is probably the more empathetic space, the more passive space, which is creativity. Anytime I get such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
So like kind of leaving this season, getting ready for what the off season is going to potentially look like for me in terms of like film and stuff. It feels like I'm shedding a skin. You kind of shed a skin, you shed some weight, and then this is cool. But the cycle continues where I'll get to a point when the summer cooks up and football's starting to become more of the thing again. I'll kind of get tired of being in that space, and I'll come back. So it's actually the perfect like yin and yang to my
Yeah.
reason in life. It's a unique experience for me.
And you're a man of many talents, Amir, and I love that. And I mean, are you in the works on any productions in this off season? Anything coming out?
Yeah, coming out is a movie that I played a role in, played like the third lead in, called Break the Cycle.
Okay.
That I filmed last summer. This is a piece that's not originally written by me. This isn't like anything about me. I was just in the casting, so that was kind of like my first kind of break into the acting world, which was an experience in itself. That comes out, I think, early this year, if not like next month. I want to say next month. It's really interesting. We can get into it, just like the compartmentalization of like the film world and football and how they're actually very similar. It's interesting. But that's set to come out early this year. And then I'm also casted for another production that's yet to actually establish a production time yet. So I'm kind of just chilling.
Gotcha. And I don't mean to rush you out of your football career because I'll be the first one to say you have a lot left in your career. But obviously, after the end of your career, is that the end or the next step in your journey to be fully focused on production and film and writing, Amir?
I, th- I think it'll be interesting to actually give myself the undivided intention to, what I mean? Like I said before, like we got on here, I really see like whatever you put joy into,
Mm.
that will sustain you. And I think my whole thing about football right now, like why I still play and what I've kind of dove into lightly in the film space, it's all about like self-preservation,
Yeah.
really. And I think the best way to self-preserve is to put your intention into things that actually make you feel love and joy, happy about. And that'll sustain you physically, spiritually, and keep you well in that. As opposed to investing yourself into things that give you anxiety or just like a lot of pressing emotions, because you can't sustain that, Yeah. So when I'm sorry, I kind of got off. I kind of got off of our topic a little bit there. Stop me. I would definitely do that a lot. So
And I was agreeing on that because I was just in an interview a few days ago, and they asked me if I'm money driven. I said no because my honest answer is if I like what I'm doing, as long as it can support me, I don't really care because that's what brings me my passion in my life. Um, and I know that was a silly answer because obviously I feel like everyone's money driven to a point, and I am to a point. But as long as it can, sustain me, and I like what I'm doing, money doesn't matter after that.
it's
Um,
good.
I feel like
Yeah,
that. I feel like I related to that as well,
it's
Amir.
good. It's good.
And then, obviously you ended the season off with a bang, man. You did, and it's only fitting your last game as a Raider, 100 yards plus, and we'll do the simple math. It's a 5.8 rushing yards for you. How did you feel year 13 went for you with the Raiders? You got the 3 starts. You were a contribution. You did a contribution on the special teams as a running back. How did you feel year 13 went for you?
Year 13. It was year 10. It was year 10.
Am I that off?
No, 13 would be insane. Like, listen. I'll say this: if I'm still playing in 13, man, it's in year 13. It's got to be like I got to be playing some really good ball. I got to be playing some really good ball because that would be like unprecedented territory, actually. But I mean, it felt good. It definitely felt good. I felt to be honest, I've always felt like the opportunity in this league is a very choice thing, and I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned through my experience playing this league. Because going back to Detroit, being a starter for like I'll really call it like 2.5 years, really, um, really gave me perspective on like how things can kind of change for you specifically at the running back position that I don't think a lot of people kind of, speak on enough is when you kind of get moved out of the consideration of just like opportunity or like the emphasis of getting the carries or like getting the load. It can definitely it can I can definitely see why the running back position has the quickest turnaround,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
because it there is it's it's so much driven on opportunity as opposed to just like um this foolproof plan of like making sure that the guy gets everyone gets the rock. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't know if that's making sense
I
at
know.
all. Like
That's what you're
I feel
saying.
like I'm warming up. I'm getting my thoughts kind of together for the day. I had a workout earlier, so I'm kind of coming back to more of a conscious space. But I feel like when I look at the opportunity I have with the Raiders, I'll just bring it back to this to make it make sense. When I look at this past year, the season didn't necessarily start off with me like being in the thought process of getting carries,
Mhm.
but because of things have happened, injuries and so on and so forth, I became a guy that was like in the rotation pretty consistently. And then as stated in those late games,
You're
I got
one.
the start. So uh, I would say definitely it showed me a grand lesson of just like opportunity in the league is so choice for the running back position. Where like it's it's a lot of good backs. It's a lot of good backs, and I think about some of my peers right now, like Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook was one of the best running backs I've ever seen with my own two eyes, and because of kind of like a narrative change on him, and him now being moved to the Jets to the Cowboys, it's kind of like limited his opportunities to sustain himself as a running back because once the the narrative and then the opportunities change, it's very hard to crack back into that like that space, because the opportunities are few far in between. Because think about it. It's only, here we are. I'm going to make it make sense here because I feel like I'm rambling. It's only one running back on the field at a time. On average, it's about 3 receivers, Sometimes, like us, we do a lot of two tight end sets. We rotate a lot more positionally. So in the running back position, it being sole choice of one guy on the field at a time, the margin for missing an opportunity is very, very, slim. So to have the opportunity to actually tote the rock as like a legitimate number one, not just, like a third down back, or, not just someone that kind of spells you in specific, moments of like maybe a fly sweep here and there. I think it kind of gave me more of a reassurance and more of a reminder and a balance to my game, that without being able to do that consistently, you kind of lose sight of as a player, if that makes sense, that instinct.
And we're forgetting Dalvin Cook is what, 4 or 5-time Pro Bowler when he played on the Vikings. Yeah, top running back in the league. So I think we had Benny Snell on the podcast, and he was saying the same thing, Amir. With it, it's a tough position to play, and I think that's what makes it more impressive that you're going. I guess I just fortune told, because I see you in year 13. That's what I was thinking.
Hey, there it is. Hey, listen, year 13, that'd be amazing. I would love that.
Yeah, and I guess the big question for you is year 10. You're performing at still the same level, if not better. How do you keep your body in the shape that you're keeping it? I mean, what are the things that you're doing, both mentally and physically, to be an elite running back?
I think everyone's a little different when it comes to what their body needs, specifically. So I'll keep it pretty relative to just me. For me, I'm a explosive guy. So my main recovery that I need is less impact work early, more small intrinsic muscle work during that time, meaning none weight bearing, but you're doing like a lot of manual, resistive stuff, things to really work the very fine and small muscles around your joints, around your hips, around your back, and all the areas you need to be a good athlete, right? Work out all those small muscles and truly let yourself heal from like practicing from OTAs to training throughout the summer to camp to preseason to the entire season. That's a lot of wear and tear that you put on yourself. And I think a lot of people kind of ignore the truly healing, but healing the right way.
Yeah.
Healing in a way where you stay active, but you're taking care of the larger portions of the body that you need to like really heal, because maybe you're an explosive guy. I know some guys who are more like not necessarily not explosive, but more like smooth, more like smooth. I know for them, they probably need a lot of like body work, because they do like a lot of contortion. I mean, I do too, but like I'm not gonna figure out their regimen right now on this podcast. But yeah, I think understanding your body and really attacking like what you feel like you do the most. Like if you do a lot of explosive stuff, you need to like kind of chill on explosive, let the fuel tank reheal. And of course, eating right, doing certain things. I've been known to be flexitarian.
Okay. I've not heard of that. What is that?
I don't like everything. I think everything in like chapters is kind of the recipe, at least for me, in terms of like my diet. I've been vegan. I've done the no carb. I've done the keto. I've done like juice fast. I've never done like the carnivore diet. I've never just done the carnivore. I've never done that one. But I've done it all. So like, of course that plays a really important part of it too. But shoot, man, like if you love what you do, like I said, like if you love what you do, you can keep going. I swear that. I think it always comes back to a more spiritual place for me.
And that's a mindset. I know if you like what you do, what do they say? You're not doing a day of work or something like that. I think that's
It just sounds so cliche when I say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I understand that. Like, I'm not oblivious. I'm not just like, oh, everything's peaches and butterflies. Candy. But I genuinely believe like if you just make it your thing, you know what I mean? Like you ain't got to share it with the world. You don't got to be this, like happy, frolicking person. But if you just have your own relationship with God, your own, like personal pursuit and relationship with yourself, and tell yourself like, I'm going to really just lean into the things that really make me happy, and let's see where that shit takes me.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, what I mean? like, and when I say lean into it, like really be disciplined to it. You know what I mean? Not like I like it, so I'm just gonna be around it. Like make yourself active, into it. If you really love it, it'll make sense.
Yeah, give it your all. Now, obviously, I know you. I'm assuming you learn something each year about yourself. Year 10, what did you learn about yourself as a human being? This year, did you have an affirmation, Amir? I mean, what was that all looking like?
Uh, Honestly, bro, I'm a big music guy,
Gotcha.
and we all know like the momentum Kendrick Lamar
Yeah.
had like this entire year
Mhm.
on like hip hop. I felt, and it's gonna sound funny because I'm a really big Kendrick Lamar fan, but anytime I'm kind of like going through something that requires a lot of emotional energy, I usually pick like an album
Okay.
that like really sets the like scene for me, like everything. I like to romanticize everything. So like I usually pick like an album to listen to, and I really dive into the lyrics of those albums, and they usually bring out like the lesson I learned in year 10, you know? And I honestly would say my lesson that I really learned in year 10 was kind of like the same momentum pendulum that we saw Kendrick take,
Okay.
where like I felt connected to what he was doing because obviously the initial diss on Drake was crazy. It was from left field, you know what I mean? It was from left field. Drake responded, and it was a nice response.
Yeah.
Kendrick, boom, they went back, boom, 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 boom. Kendrick obviously won at the end, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then he dropped what I feel like is a very good album this fall. And in that album, he has a song called, I think it's called Man in the Garden.
Hmm.
And the punchline in the song is I deserve it all. And obviously the sentiment that he's taking is a lot more like determined, hardworking. Like in the song, he's talking about how he's built himself up to where he is now. And he comes to the punchline, I deserve it all. And every time when you say affirmation, that kind of reminded me of that
Yeah.
because it felt like that song feels like an affirmation to me. So what I learned in year 10 was from, hearing him say, I deserve it all. We all deserve it all.
Mhm.
And you should feel that way. You got to carry yourself that way. Like you really deserve it. Like I think it's very easy for us to put ourselves, whether it's socioeconomically, whether it's like religiously, politically, and all these different tiers of like value in society of like how people would view us. But like if you can kind of put all of those like you know things to the side in terms of just like ideas that we've created, you can really shape your life when you really just affirm that you deserve it all.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And like for me, like deserving it all was like, if I'm gonna say I deserve it all, I gotta put in the work like I deserve it all. So you start to mimic the behaviors of what you think or who you can see who has what you want has done, and you start to, act that way. And year 10, that was kind of like that was pretty much the biggest lesson, you know what I mean? Like when you stay consistent to something, because I've been very consistent to the things I've done in the last like 4 to 5 off seasons I've had. And you look at my running numbers, they're not impressive. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I haven't gotten a lot of opportunity. When I left Detroit and went to Minnesota, shoot, man, the opportunity was few and far between. I played behind some good backs, and like I said, the narrative was out there at that point of just like I wasn't a lead back anymore. So Like the opportunities that came between there were like few and far between, but from the trainers that I work with, the people who are around, I'm sure they can attest that like, Amir does the same thing every offseason, and it's kept me ready for the moment. You know what I mean? Like even in year 10, when I'm much older than a lot of the backs in the league, like it kept me physically on, ready. So when, the season came where, Alex Madison had went down after Zamir White had already gone down and we played Denver, Kendrick Lamar had just dropped that album. I'm bringing it all together. So like that was like my soundtrack to like keep myself like, you're ready for this moment. You know what I mean? Like it's come at a time in your career that's like, it's an interesting story to tell. But I think me staying consistent to my my process had me ready for the opportunity. I feel like I could have even been much better with even more opportunity, honestly. But as you know, we went through a lot of coaching change and a lot of ups and downs as with our season this year with the Raiders. But I felt like this year was like, all right, I deserve it. I deserve it.
So is it safe to say you're not a Drake fan?
No, I love Drake.
Oh, all right. No,
I love Drake. Actually, like last week, I do this a lot. I play like a song on repeat a lot when I'm like in a mood. I do that a lot. I'm gonna hear this back and probably I'm like, yo, I sound like a psycho this whole podcast. I've been rambling, saying all this stuff, but I played that song he dropped early in the fall, No Face.
Ooh.
It's called No Face. I had that on repeat all last week. Like, what is up with this polarity thing that we do in the world where everything is like light and dark, hot and cold? It's got to be this. I'm like, look, I'm a person that was fortunate enough to be just young enough. Or like old enough to witness Jordan a little bit. You know what I mean? It was like tail end Jordan, but it was like I still got to witness Jordan. I got to witness Kobe, LeBron, and now I'm in a very choice generation.
Okay.
So to ask me to choose, it's like, God, like why are you taking the fun out of my life?
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Asking me to choose is like taking the fun out of my life. Like, why can't I enjoy all of that? Like, I like chocolate, but I also like vanilla.
That's fair.
Shit. When it comes to the whole Kendrick Drake thing, like I'm gonna objectively observe and give my opinion, but like I love Drake. Drake did a lot for hip hop, did a lot for music in general. Like Drake is, of course, he's a chameleon, and I think a lot of people try to knock him for that. But it's like you gotta understand, yeah, you can say that he's culture vulture and whatever, but he's still coming to your culture and doing it better than you. So it's like you can't knock him. Like he's talented, so he's connected to it in some sense. You know what I mean? And I still think he makes hits, but objectively speaking, Kendrick Lamar won the beef. He won the beef. He did. It was a lot. I mean, he literally has a song calling the guy a pedophile that went it went international. That is unprecedented. That is crazy. Yeah. That should have not happened. That they should have taken that song off of all streaming if they would have just stopped for a second and listened to the lyrics. It was the horns. The horns were too goddamn good. The horns in that song were too good. The cadence, people get lost. It's kids who sing that song, man. Like my nephew, anytime that song comes on, like he don't really know what it's saying, but he hums the tone. I'm just like, it's catchy. Even the kids love it, man. And if they only knew, like.
I wonder if they're going to let him play that at the Super Bowl. I really am wondering.
That has been a discussion in a couple of my group chats, bro.
Really?
I'm like, think about it. Like Kendrick Lamar has been an artist for a long time, but let's be honest. He is now as big as Drake now. Drake has been this big for a long time. So when you compare like sales, Drake can outsell Kendrick any day. Like no question. Of course, I think Kendrick is more like connected to a specific skill set of artistry to create cohesive albums that sound like timeless music more than Drake. You know what I mean? Like Drake got some timeless albums, but as of recent, he's more of the hit maker. He makes hits. He's not really putting together an artistic message to craft a well-organized album anymore. He did. He's out of that space. Kendrick has been able to still do that, while being this big now, which makes him a little different in my opinion. But oh man, what were we saying?
We're talking about if Kendrick Lamar is going to play there, they're not like us.
Oh yeah, because like, bro,
that's gonna be big.
That would be crazy.
that would be.
That'd be nuts, bro. Like, nah, you can't. But it also would kind of maybe hurt ratings if they try to say that because, like I said, Kendrick's been making music for a long time. Most people can't name Kendrick's albums. Most people can't name songs on his albums. You know what I mean? Fanatics like me, I can because I'm a music head, and Kendrick is. To see where he came from when I first got into college in 2011, my brother played a song called "Cartoons and Cereal" made by Kendrick Lamar. This was 2011. So Kendrick then sounded so like you still hear remnants of it, but how he's transformed so much is crazy. It's crazy. But a lot of people don't know that type of music. So like he kind of when people knew him was this year on this curve. So Not Like Us was pivotal in this global reach that he has now. A song about him talking about pedophilia.
And we gotta clip that. We gotta see what the audience says if they're gonna play.
That just showed me where we are as a nation. we are sick. We need help.
I don't agree. I
all need help.
I don't disagree.
We should not have been encouraging that.
It's a catchy song. I'll be honest with you.
Oh my God. For the sake of a catchy tune, we allow that. That's our limit. That's our threshold as a nation. Oh man, that's low.
I gotta ask you, do you think LeBron and Jordan are number one and tied number one? You gotta have a clear cut number one between them.
Man, I like them both, but like
okay.
Man, I gotta go Bron. Bro. I gotta go Bron. And I know that that's gonna kind of shake a couple of my older brothers, because I'm the youngest of 9, but we got an older family now. So like I know that I know my brother Kareem probably he might agree. My brother Kareem might agree, but my brother Muhammad would not agree. He's a Pierce to the core, and that's what I love about him the most. He gonna stand on his principles. But when we talk about because when I start breaking it down, it's never just a clear cut number one, right? It's really about what you value in your greatest of all time conversation. Because for LeBron James right now, to me, he is the greatest is because he can play all 5 positions. Let's start there. Throughout his career, he's done it.
Yes.
No other player has really done that, really. Besides, Giannis now can do it, you know what I mean? But, Wemby can kind of do it. And, I think I honestly feel like this. And this is probably a hot to the skillet take. Because I'm going to go back on something I said to my brother. I told my brother that LeBron James wasn't a, revolutionary player. Wow. Meaning, he didn't change the game.
Okay.
Necessarily. Steph Curry, revolutionary. He changed the game of shooting. Mm-hmm. Jordan, revolutionary. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, revolutionary. Kobe Bryant, not revolutionary because we had seen it with Jordan already.
Will Chamberlain, revolutionary.
Yeah, revolutionary. People who changed the landscape of how the game was played. Magic Johnson, revolutionary. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I said that, but I have to kind of go back and maybe retract that statement. When you look at, of course, LeBron is a physical freak that you don't just see in every generation. We probably won't see another LeBron for probably another no lie 30 to 40 years.
Probably.
That's a generation. 30 years is a generation. So we probably won't see someone that IQ of the game. His IQ of the game is just as good, if not better than Jordan's. Mm-hmm. He's a floor general. I don't ever think, not saying Jordan didn't do it, but in the triangle offense, he wasn't asked to be a floor general to that extent. He ran the mid. He did run the mid pick and roll, a lot, which puts you in a position to distribute. But LeBron literally sets up plays, This dude is calling plays on the sideline. His full court vision, his ability to execute the pass he passes like Magic Johnson, but had the athleticism of Jordan, if not better. So, like, when you start getting those conversations of just it's like, man, I mean, he's number one in everything. I get it, longevity, but he still took less shots than Jordan.
Yeah.
He's number one. He took less shots.
Yeah, he's a generational talent. He's got to be, and
I'm just like,
I mean, the fact that he could also play tight end.
Jordan was such a killer. Jordan was such. They called him Black Jesus. But bro, his shoes. The shoes tell the story, bro. It's like, bro, his shoes are still the most iconic sports spin-off brand that you know what I mean? Like, you just ever existed. Like what has ever been a branch off of any other brand that's done numbers like this? Maybe Puma, because Puma broke off of Adidas and Puma, but like Jordan, Puma. I mean, I guess maybe I'm like Western civilized in my you know what I mean? Like, at least over here, because I guess in Europe maybe Puma is bigger than Jordan because more soccer. You know, maybe I'm a little bit more regionally biased on that, but like, Jordan was a killer, bro. So it's hard for me to, I'm impartial.
No, I like that. You can like vanilla and you can like chocolate. The more I thought about it, the more I agree with your take, Amir. And I mean, Jordan, they're different. They also are, to a point, different players as well, in a sense.
Who's winning one-on-one? Who's winning one-on-one? Because I'm like, bro, I think Jordan would work out on LeBron a little bit on offense because Jordan was quicker than what people, gave him. I would say, like, he had really good, like, he had like a triple, and this was that whole era. He had like a really nice like triple threat hezzy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would palm the ball, get the ball in a triple threat, and do like a jab, you know what I mean? And then like come off the dribble. And I think LeBron might struggle with that because Jordan had good footwork too. But like, man, I don't see Jordan stopping LeBron either.
No, he won't. He won't. He's too physical.
That's what I'm like, because LeBron can shoot his ass off now. LeBron's 3-point is actually one of his better attributes now, which is crazy.
And that was his worst thing, arguably. No, he's. I would say he's generational. I would agree with your take on that. I would agree with your take on that.
LeBron, man.
That's fair. And obviously, there was a lot of ups for you in this 2024 season. What to you was your favorite game? Obviously, was it that last game against the Broncos where you showed, hey?
No, actually, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Really?
The last game, the game that actually was the highlight was it was the week that I got my first start of the season. The second time we played the Broncos, we lost that game, but it was my favorite game that I played this year because of how fun it was leading up to that game. I knew I was gonna be the starter going into that week, and I'm a jokester. You know what I mean? You probably can hear it just in my.
Yeah.
That's what I bring to the NFL room. Is the jokes, the good vibes, the interesting talking, points or conversations, and I do my job when I'm called to do my job. You feel me? Like on the field. Like that's what I bring. That's my value to organization, a veteran presence that's still productive on the field. So like leading up to that week, I was in the steam room and I was in there. I do a lot of breath work in the steam room. It sounds crazy, but I do a lot of breath work in there because it kind of gets into your lungs. It's kind of hard to explain, maybe it's not the healthiest, I don't know, but like, who knows? But I mean, I was doing that in there, and Christian Wilkins, was it Christian Wilkins? I forgot. No, I think it was one of them rookie D tackles came up to me. It was just like, he go Amir with his affirmations and all, all this crazy stuff. I was like, you know what, bro? I do talk to myself, man. Like I got this thing I do at practice where anytime I score at practice, I whisper to the football, touchdown. I'll see you in the end zone this weekend. I'll see you in the end zone this weekend, touchdown. It's like a joke. is a joke, but it's actually something I really do to create the neural reflex in my brain to create that reality for myself. Because I really feel like you can't create your reality from just, changing your thoughts. That simple. Changing your thoughts and how you speak to yourself can really change a lot. So I do that. And then before the game, I always pray over a few of my teammates' hands, right? I pray over their hands and I pray for very specific things. And I think sometimes as a kid, when we think about prayer, we think about like coming to the table with modesty a lot of times, but I think one of the most direct things that I've experienced with, my relationship with God is, he's very direct.
Yeah.
When he wants you to change in a different course of life, it's very direct. So I think that's what he prefers. It's very direct, like communication. So like I'm very direct of like, make these hands 2 interception hands today, God, like legit. So like that, everyone's laughing, you know what I mean? Because it's my way to connect with my teammates as well. But like I really believe in that, So that week I had been on double time. That week, and I literally called how I was going to score. I called it because the specific front that the Broncos ran when we got into the low red zone was a specific front where they peeled the end on me a lot. They peeled the end on me, right? They're getting this look, and then they'll have the backer stacked, and the backer would always do like this, simulated like he's on pressure, but nope, he's not. He's not coming. But the end has me a man, right? So the backer does like this, like delayed blitz, and then because he blitzes and I'm out free releasing, the end has to pick me up, right? So I have the advantage. So that whole week, we run that play every time we score it. I'm talking to the ball, and then Alex Madison, not Alex. I think it was it might have been Sincere. Might have been Sincere at that time. I was telling Sincere, like, bro, you gotta, you gotta really speak it. You gotta speak it. And then I scored that way that week. And then it was funny because I did like this one dance by the Jabberwockies. I'm fascinated with their dance routine. Yeah. Them dudes is insane. So I did one of their dances, and I didn't do a good job really because it happened. It's in the moment. I gotta execute. And in the NFL, you always see a guy trying to celebrate and his team come over and they like hitting them and all. You know what I mean? So I couldn't really get my my boogie like I wanted, but they recognized the dance, man. They recognized the dance. They hit me up on Instagram, and now we follow each other. And it's like, oh, that's dope, man. I like them. So I'm hoping to like somehow like collab with them in some way, form or fashion. Maybe have them in a film I'm writing or something, man. Who knows?
Oh, that's awesome. No, they are.
They're nice. They're nice.
And obviously, you had your second most receiving yards in your career. I mean, it's like you're getting better when you're getting older. And I'm not trying to age you again because I think it's so impressive, the longevity, like we talked about, how you're able to stay at such a elite level. What are your goals for next season? I mean, what is that all looking like? If you mind talking about that.
Yeah, well, I'm about to be a free agent. In March. So, next season, whoever signs me, I feel like I definitely want more of a intentional, role a little bit more of an intentional role. Sometimes you can kind of get in the league and things can kind of be like, not as, intentional. That's, whatever. But whoever I sign with, just have more of an intentional role to contribute offensively. Really, I feel like I bring a different element to the table where like I can run between the tackles. That's always been my game, but something I've really cultivated over the last I'll say 6 to 7 years of my career is my receiving ability out the backfield. You know what I mean? Like you say, having one of my better years receiving out the backfield. I feel like I've really created a good route runner out of myself.
Yeah.
Someone who's patient, and then of course the ability to make people miss and yards at the catch has always been something that I wanted to create opportunity for myself for, because I feel like that's where I shine the best, is in those opportunities to after the catch.
After catch. Big.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my goal is just to keep stacking. Yeah, keep stacking, man. I don't really have any big lofty ones, but
No, just, I shoot. I said 13 seasons, and I fortune told that. Would it be weird if I fortune told a Pro Bowl season next year?
hey, look, man. Listen, I made Pro Bowl alternate this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I think Marvin Mims got it. I think
He
Marvin
did.
Mims.
He did.
But yeah, he's good. He's good too.
He's good.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, throw that in there. Throw that in the pot, man. We can cook that up too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Cook
And
that up, you know.
cook that up. And I guess my final question is, what is your dream team to play with? Do you have any dream teams that you grew up wanting to play on?
Growing up in Alabama, man, we don't have a
That's true.
professional team, so not really. I was a fan of the Eagles growing up, but I never really wanted to play for Philly. I actually also was a Raiders fan growing up, and the reason why I was a Philly and a Raiders fan growing up was because I followed anything my older brothers did.
Yeah.
My brother that's just older than me, he's 4 years older than me. We actually have the same birthday. His name is Kareem.
Yes, sir.
And he was a big Eagles fan. Donovan McNabb, Todd Pinkston, Terrell Owens, freaking like, come on, Brian Westbrook. You know what I mean? Brent Selleck had the squad. B-Dog holding it down. Like Asante Samuels, bro. The straps. It was good. It was good football. Andy Reid. It was good football. So I love watching them. But my brother Muhammad was a Raiders fan, so I wanted to be like Muhammad too. So I would watch the Raiders. They weren't as good. They made the Super Bowl. What was that? 04, 2002? What was that? 04?
With Gruden. Yeah.
With Gruden. Yeah. What was that? 2002, 2004? I don't know why those two dates are sticking out.
I forget. We had Brad Johnson on the podcast. I should know because he won that Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Who won the podcast?
It was Brad Johnson. I think he was the Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah, the quarterback. Yeah, Brad Johnson. Yeah.
Two-term.
I remember, rooting for the Raiders that game. I was rooting for the Raiders.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is coming back to?
Oh, I would love it. I would love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to be back with the Raiders, man. I love Raider Nation. I feel like this is. I've been very fortunate, honestly, man. I've been very fortunate throughout my career to play for like genuine fan bases, like Detroit, genuine fan base. Minnesota, genuine fan base. Didn't really get a feel of Carolina enough because I only played there like 7 games. But like Raiders, genuine fan base. Yeah. So like I've been fortunate to go from Nebraska to genuine fan base all the way through, and it makes it easy to like go out there and give it your all when you like really show up to that stadium because the fans, bro, they really support. Because they really show up and they want a winner, man. And hopefully, if I can, sign back here, the direction that we'll be going in the future will be towards winning. Just towards winning. That's all I want, man. My main goal is to be playing meaningful football.
And the Raiders definitely they'll cook and they'll cook. They got some nicely young talent. Brock Bowers, obviously, who you played with, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
If Max Crosby stays, I would say it generational. He's one of a kind, in my opinion.
Max Crosby, I'll tell you right now, Max Crosby is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a Hall of Famer. Bro, he's the most incredible defensive player I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. In all the categories. It isn't just his motor. It isn't just his athletic ability because he's athletic as shit.
Yes.
Dude can like turn the corner. Dude is crazy. And he's strong, but he's also like not like tight. You know what I mean? Still loose. So he like wiggle. Max is like one of the fastest dudes on our team.
Damn.
Like in the summertime when we run sprints, he beats all the skills. He beats me. I admit it. He beats me. Yeah.
Damn.
Dude is insane. His motor, his endurance. Oh my God, bro.
Yeah.
And I played with like Levante, Daniil Hunter, bro.
Jesus.
I played with some dudes. Randy Gregory was really good when I was in college, bro. Like, nah, man. Max clears. He does. He clears.
He's the only person I've seen Patrick Mahomes be genuinely scared of or actually shaking.
People got to watch Raiders games too. Dude made the Pro Bowl and only played 8 games. Bro, think about this. Dog, in 8 games where he had 8.5 sacks? He had 8.5 sacks. Bro, when I tell you, if he didn't get hurt this year, he was going for Defensive Player of the Year. Max was Max, bro.
He's
And then his tackles for loss, bro. He still finished like top 5 tackles and loss, and he finished this. He hadn't played since week 8. Bro, you know how crazy that is, bro. I'm
yeah.
telling you, Max. Max is the greatest player I've probably ever played with, and now I see the difference of like Hall of Fame and good.
Yeah, no, I know you.
It's hard for me to see it. Like I saw the tail end of CJ, and I would say he also confirmed it. I would say Stafford confirmed it for me too.
Yep.
And then Max. Those are the ones I play with. That's like, oh yeah,
And I mean,
yeah,
shoot,
they're Hall of Fame.
I mean, Calvin Johnson, Max Crosby. Now, damn, I'm just envisioning a lot of success for you next season. I'm gonna be honest with you. I see it because I mean, I'm just looking at your stats right now, and it's every year you're getting better, and that's a scary thing. So we're stirring that Pro Bowl nod next year, wherever it be, whatever team. If you go back to LA and do your thing again, wherever you go. Is it weird that I could see you in Kansas City? I don't know why I said that team, but I could weirdly see you in Kansas City with Mahomes, and that'd be lethal. You and speaking of Andy Reid, obviously,
I'm a Raider, man. I'm a Raider. I can't speak on that right now, but
right now, that's true. That's why I said, is it weird? But yeah, that's true.
Obviously, mad respect for them. Like,
Yeah,
people throw crazy shade at them, but they 15-2. You know what I mean? 15-2, and then like they always trend upwards at the right time. Like it's an old cliche and an old adage that goes around the NFL. You want to play your best ball in December. The Chiefs do that every year, and you want to play your best ball in December because those last 4 games, they really decide playoff seeding, man. They really do. So they do that every year. They trend up. You see everyone's like, oh, Kelsey don't look the same. No. Next, December comes, Kelsey's catching it, yak yard crazy, doing laterals and shit. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like they trend at the right time, and that tells me that they have unbelievable trust and pure intention for one another, and that's why the shit works. I'm telling you.
Damn right.
And you can tell they probably enjoy their work.
And man, I'm so invested. But you're gonna kill it next year, man. And before we go, the floor is yours. Obviously, you have a partnership with Paluva. Is that correct?
Yeah, partnership with Paluva. Yeah.
And that's like a shoe.
Oh yeah. I can shout out Paluva real quick, man. Yeah, Paluva is a barefoot shoe company that really I think has been a good balance for me because I mean I've done a lot of different like barefoot shoes. You know what I mean? I've done Vivo barefoot. I typically just train barefoot a lot of times anyways. But sometimes with the Vivos you can't always run the way you want because they're so flat that like that cushion of like really beating up your feet, which I know that's part of the like strengthening process is actually getting that callus. But for someone that like beats up his feet all year during the season, like running around, doing all that, and then coming to off season and beating them up, as much as you do with Vivos when it comes to like impact training. You know what I mean? Like they're not great for impact training, but they're good for a lot of like push and pull stuff for sure. Or like, stability stuff, I would say, excuse me. And then but Paluva, they like feature like this like toe separation, type of fit that may seem like overkill, but for me, it's actually helped me a lot. Really open up like my pinky toes and stuff. And this isn't like an ad that they're paying me for right now. This is like this is legitimately my take, guys. But it also has just enough of the barefoot but cushion element that you can run in them. You can run them and you can do more like impact training while still getting that like full dexterity of like the foot, which is the goal of barefoot training to mimic the barefoot experience. Of course, barefoot is always the best. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like if you are hiking, you may not want to hike barefoot the entire time. I did that one time in Georgia, trying to be a hard ass in front of my friends, and I paid for it that day. I did, you know what I mean? I had ego death that day, big ego death. I was like, yo, who am I doing this for? Because I'm the one suffering. So like, unless you're one of those guys, I know Mac Hollins does it everywhere.
I saw that. That's what I was going to mention.
Mac Hollins does it everywhere. I mean, hey, kudos to him. I'm like, I'm not at that that level of ability, of like doing that every day. But
Shout
yeah,
out to
shout out to Paluva, man. No, and anyone else? Oh, ASRV. Shout out to ASRV. I think they're the best, definitely male, athletic wear, athleisure, if you will, because some of their stuff is kind of leisurely upscale. Um, Brand out there, man.
Yeah.
Super dope, super genuine. They're all about vertical integration, building from the ground up. I support that message. So,
Damn right.
yeah, man, appreciate you having me on. I know I've been rambling, bro, but I got a lot more energy in me because I'm in the off season and I ain't got nothing to do right now. This is the side that people don't see. I've been playing with stuff. Yeah.
And Amir, an honor and privilege, man. I mean, you are just one of one, and all the links will be in the bio, especially to your Instagram, and so people can watch Joshua Tree and see all your other works and know that you have a very creative mind, obviously, but know kind of see inside what your mind's thinking, and obviously, I can't wait to. Is the film that you were in going to be on? Is it going to be out on like a streaming service?
I am, and it's funny, we never circle back to this, but film and football is very similar in like its compartmentalization.
Yeah.
Like I'm on a need to know basis as an athlete. Like I get told where I need to be, what I need to do, and like of course we have some, democracy in that a little bit, but at the same time, like the coaches are who my superiors are.
Yes.
Then from there, they have superiors, and then those superiors have superiors, and then you have the ultimate superior, which is the owner, right? So like, a lot of things that move on the third floor don't make it to us, and it's the same thing with acting, which as you can see with like the film industry, a lot of things are like very up and down
Yeah.
in terms of like theaters. For one, theaters aren't doing well, and it's kind of taking a shift right now because all of these smaller production companies are closing down and getting bought out by just the bigger ones. You know what I mean? Which is just creating this like wealth distribution issue that's like been a lot of things changing in terms of the unions going on strike recently. I say all that because we're also compartmentalized as talent. They call actors talent. Like I'm just talent. So I don't talk to the producers who are, moving the script. We have been distributed through Lionsgate, but I have gotten a hard confirmation that it's coming out early this year, which means January, February.
Okay.
I just don't have that date. But I would think regionally it will be in theaters in the South, but it will most likely be on streaming services. I know it's been, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we'll plug all that and get all
Oh
that.
yeah, I mean, once more information is given to me about the premiere, you know what I mean? Then
Send it to me. We'll get it
yeah,
out there.
for sure.
And hey, Fear Amir in the building, and Fear Amir is going to do what he's going to do next year. And we brainstormed, we've cooked. He's got a lot of things ahead of him, and that's all I'm going to say on that. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this. And also go check out Amir's highlights as well. Just go check them out. You won't be disappointed in those because they're pretty badass. So, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Until next time, Underdog out.